Bureau of Investigation. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to do a mock answer, and we're going to use our Salem witch trials that we talked about the other day. We're going to use that as our basis of questioning and researching. And I was going to have you do this like along with me on the computer, but I think instead it would be more beneficial if you saw what I was doing. Instead of trying to like constantly get your page to load and things like that. So I really need you paying attention and following along with me. Sound okay? Okay. So what I want you to do is up above the question part. Oh, before we do this, what should we always do to our paper? Name. Because I guarantee you some of you will turn in your paper without your name on it, and I'm not going to know whose it is. So I want you to go ahead and put your name, not my name. Okay? So then, up at the top here, this blank space above the question, I want you to write what our topic was. It was Cotton Mather's involvement in the Salem witch trials. This was when we did that narrowing topic where we talked about the Puritans. We started with Puritans, and then we went down to witch trials. Then we went down again to Salem witch trials. Then we went down to people involved, and then we went all the way down to Cotton Mather's. So, what we're going to do is we are going to formulate a question that has to do with that. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the question just for sake of time. But this is the question that I want you to write down. What was Cotton Mather's role in the Salem witch trials? It's Mather. It's Mather. I don't really actually know if it's Mather or Mathers, but it definitely doesn't have an S on it. But it sounds like it should when we do like the possessive, yeah. Oh, it's kind of cut off. What are we always going to remember to put at the end of our question? Question mark. Very good. So we are ready to start our research. Ashton, what's up? You can. Go ahead and sit next to Darius for me, please, because I don't have anywhere else to sit. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and try to figure out what we're going to use to answer our question. Would you rather start with database or website?
Website. Database.
Okay, we'll go with database because that's the one I heard most of. So, okay, so how do we get to a database? What do I do?
You go to
RAPEC. Remember, I have to go to RAPEC first. Oh, dear. Okay, so I'm going to click on RAPEC. And then what do I do? Students. And library media resources. Very good. Then where do I go? EBSCOhost databases. Good job. Now what do I click on? Great job. Okay. So now I'm where I'm supposed to be. What should I type in order to find the answer to my question? No, we never type in the question. Cotton Mather. Should I do Cotton Mather? Just write it, type his name?
Yeah.
Quotation marks. Good job. So I'm going to do quotation marks. Should I do anything else with Cotton Mather?
No.
And Salem witch trials. Good job. Oh, you want to add roll too? Okay. Okay. So with roll, that only comes up with one thing. Hold on just 1 second for me, please. Hello? No, she went to check on a student at ISF. Okay. Okay, so Honora probably can't have 6 blocks in. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is, yeah, I don't know. have my article. What should I use in order to find just Cotton Mather? What was that tool that I told you about? Do you remember?
Highlight it.
Control,
C.
not Control C,
17.
F.
Yeah.
F. What does Control F do?
It does that thing. It goes to the search bar and you type in Cotton Mather.
Very good. And now I can come up with every time Cotton Mather is in here. So let me read you this and we'll see if this answers our question. During the Salem witch trials, both Increase is Cotton Mather's father, relative of some sort. Increase and Cotton Mather expressed their doubts about the proceedings, especially concerning the use of spectral evidence. Increase Mather insisted that the special court of Oyer and Terminer to be terminated because it might be guilty of shedding innocent blood. Cotton Mather, one of the most cognate critics of the court's methods while it was sitting, afterward offered a strongly partisan defense of the judges. Because of this defense, historians have incorrectly presented Cotton Mather as the instigator of the witchcraft trials. He was, in fact, guilty of not opposing the trials vigorously enough. Although Salem trials were not the last, because of the Massachusetts authorities' actions in discovering, acknowledging, and disowning their errors, the Salem experience often helped to end witch trials. Does that answer our question? Not really.
Nope.
And so, if I go back, I think I'm going to take away roll because I didn't get very many searches when I added that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one, and I'm going to come up to this one, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do Control F, Cotton Mather. So now this says that there are 3 types. So let's see here. Let's see. I'm reading. It says, this says, today he is generally pictured unsympathetically as the archetype of the narrow, intolerant, severe Puritan, and his part in the Salem witch trials in 1692 is often recalled. Although he did not approve of the trials, he had helped to stir up the wave of hysterical fear by his memorable provinces related to witchcraft and possessions. Does that answer my question? Yes. Okay? Yes, it does. So, I cannot copy this down exactly the way it is because it does not mention Cotton Mather by name. So here's what I have to do. I have to use ellipses to make sure that I talk about, or I say who I'm talking about. So I'm going to start with quotation marks, and I can't do this I can't look at this and have it up. So I need you following along with me. Okay? So, I'm starting with quotation marks, and I'm going to start with that very first line that says Mather, comma, Cotton. This is your first answer. Nope, we're not on the source card yet. We're writing it right here on answer 1. Okay? So, Cotton Mather, and then we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. No, like ellipses. Dot, dot, dot. Okay. So then I'm going to say, and his part. Please cut out the side conversations. You're making my life really difficult. And his part in the Salem witch trials in 1692 is often recalled. Now, we're not done, but you need to get caught up if you haven't caught up with us. Okay, so then we're going to say, dot, dot, dot. He had helped, I'll go back in just a second, and he had helped to stir up. Oh, you know what I could do? I can't do half screen with the hover cam. To stir up the wave of hysterical fear. Because I skipped multiple sentences, and this one I didn't skip any sentences. Okay, I'm going to move on in 30 seconds. Okay, so how do I find out, if I'm on this right here, how do I find my citation? Amber? Which one? Not yet. That's for websites. We're on a database. How do I find it for a database? Cite. Very good. And which citation am I going to use? MLA. Good job. So I'm going to scroll down to MLA, and I'm going to make this bigger so that you can see it. And I want you to turn your heads behind Isaac, and I want you to look at the database cheat sheet. What is the first thing that your citation will show you? Author's last name. Does this tell us author's last name? No, there's no author's last name. So on my source card, I'm going to put a line through first, middle, last. It's the second set of 3 boxes. You can put NA, that's fine. The database, source card, right here. It says author, editor, compiler, or translator. Okay, what's my second thing that it will tell us after the author? And what do you notice about article title up there on my cheat sheet? What do you notice is around it? Quotation marks. Quotation marks will always surround the article title. That's how you know that it is the article title. So, what's my article title according to this citation? Cotton Mathers. So, I'm going to put under article title on my source card, I'm going to put Cotton Mather. Yes. No, that's the article title. Let's see if I can do this time. Well, it's just that this part, like, oh, I can move it.
There we go. Perfect. What the heck?
Okay, so what is the next thing after article title that comes up? Publisher. What's my publisher according to my citation? My publisher, it's going to be in Columbia Electronic Encyclopedia. So I'm going to put that here. Be careful where you're putting it because you need to make sure you're putting it next to publisher. No, Columbia Electronic Yes. Encycl. Are you writing this down as you asked me how to spell it? Encyclopedia. Okay, what comes after publisher? Date published. What's the date published according to this? Very good. So we're going to do, we have no day, so I'm going to put a line through that box. March 2017 is my date published. Nope, no day. You won't always have a day. You won't always have a month. Sometimes you'll just have a year. If something doesn't appear, that means that there is no credit. So, for example, this citation right here, doesn't have a author, so we just don't put it because we don't know what it is. So, what comes after date published according to my cheat sheet? Oh no, according to my database name. Database name. What according to this is my database name? EBSCOhost. Good job. So under database, I'm going to put EBSCOhost. Guys, I'm really going to have to ask you again. Please stop the side conversations. I can try. Oh, I can. Like, is that what you're talking about? That one? I can't move this black part over anymore. If we're looking at this one right here. I wonder if I can search. Oh, no, we're not looking at that one. Excuse me. We're looking at this one. Oh, dear. Is that better? I can't move over that black part any farther. So what's the date accessed? What date do we access this article? September 27th. So I'm going to put 27 September 2017. Okay, so at this point, I've now given you three redirects. So if I have to ask you one more time to cut out the side conversations that have nothing to do with what we're doing, I'm not giving you a paperclip today. Do you understand? We're all on the same page. Okay. So what you would do now is you would take this and you would glue it down. Okay, which I'll pass around glue sticks at the end of class for you to glue these down. For what I'm going to do right now, though, is I'm just going to staple mine so that it stays together. Okay, so now we need to, yes, Shalise. Can you what? Yeah, you can cut it down if you need to. That's fine. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to find answer 2 in another spot, and I need to use a website this time. So I'm going to go back to my page here. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to go to Google. Should I search the same thing again, you think? Yeah? Okay. So, Cotton Mather and Salem Witch Trials. Maybe this time let's try roll and see what we get. This says, but Mather played a more direct role, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to click on that one. So this is really small, but I'll zoom in for you. So, ooh, I see something. I see a word that we had before in my other answer. No, but Mather played a much more direct role in the Salem witch trials. His sermons and written works fanned the flames of the witchcraft hysteria. Is that the same answer that I had before? Yeah. Yes, it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this again. I'm going to try to make it 2 screens here.
I like it with just one screen on this one because the words are direct.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, I'll just follow along. Just write that down.
do my quotation marks. But Mather played a more direct role in the Salem witch trials. His sermons and written works fanned the flames of the witchcraft hysteria. If you're done, keep your voice off, please, so that others can focus. No, because that's the end of the sentence. No, he's asking a question. Yes, if you're cutting off like the end of the sentence, then you would put ... But because that's already the end of my sentence, I don't need to put ... We'll get there. We will in just a minute. Okay, are we ready to move on to our source card?
Yes.
Okay. How do I cite this website? The little book. So I'm going to come up here to EasyBib, and I'm going to say cite on EasyBib. What was the one thing, do you remember, that I told you had to remember, Darius?
Yes,
And here's what I found out. If you click it one time, it saves it that way. So you only have to click it one time. Because see how it already says yes over here? It's already there, so I don't need to do anything. So I'm just going to scroll down and click Create Citation. So now I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to minimize that. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up my source card for you. Okay, so let me see if I can make this bigger too. Okay. Okay, so my first thing is my website URL. According to my cheat sheet over here, where is my URL located in the citation? It's the very last thing. So this is really long, so bear with me here. For my web address URL, my first top line here, I'm going to type in that URL. It's this right here. I know. We're going to do school.discovery.com/Salem Witch Trials /people/Mather. I'll make it bigger in just a second. .html. Now, the reason that this is so important that you include the URL is because when I'm grading your research, I have to type this in every single time to make sure that you're not just giving me a fake resource. So it's really important that you write it down correctly. Now, if you know how to do Google Shortener, you are more than welcome to shorten this URL. Here's how you do it. It's really easy. You type in Google Shortener in a Google search. It brings up the link. You copy and paste that link in there, and it gives you a short little code. Okay? I'll show you how to do that more tomorrow so that you won't have to write all of this out. But I wanted you to practice writing it all out at least one time so that you knew if you're not going to use Google Shortener, you have to use this. Yes, love.
Why do you make that so long?
Because it's specific.
You're way too specific with that.
Okay. So, now, according to my cheat sheet, what's the first thing that should be in a citation? Author's name. Do you see an author's name? No. What's the second thing that should be in my citation? What's the next thing after author's name? Article title. An article title will always have what around it? Do you see quotation marks? Do you see anything with quotation marks? No. So there's no article title. My publisher is always going to be in italics. So what's my publisher? DiscoverySchool.com. Very good. So I'm going to draw a line through article title because I don't have one. And I'm going to draw a line through author editor because, again, I don't have one. So let's skip down to my publisher. So that is Salem. Which? No, because it's in italics. Salem Witch Trials, The People, DiscoverySchool.com. Do you see how they're all in italics? Ah, okay. The People, and then DiscoverySchool.com. When was this published? Do we know? No, because look, if you look over on there, that's date access because the date published would be before the word web. So we don't even know electronically published. So we just write our date accessed as today. What about website title? Do we know the website title? What is it? Not according to this. DiscoverySchool.com. You could probably put that. You could put DiscoverySchool.com, Salem Witch Trials, but we don't have one according to this citation, so I'm going to cross that one out as well. It's not that great. It doesn't give us a lot of resources, but it still works because it's still an authentic website. Okay, I'm going to give you about 30 more seconds to get that source card finished before we do our final step. One more step. No backside. Okay, I don't see anybody else writing, so I'm going to move on. Okay, now I need to determine where do my sources match? Because you are going to have to highlight or underline where your two answers match. So, where do they match, Isaac? At the end, okay? So, of each one? Yeah. So, where should I start? What do you want me to highlight? I think you're right. I think we should start with he had to stir up, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's on this one. And again, I will not count this as a 3 if you don't do this. So if you're not doing this with us, you need to do it. You need to underline it because if you don't have a highlighter, you need to underline it. And then the same one over here. His sermons and written works fanned the flames of witchcraft hysteria. Last thing. What do our I just gave it away. What do our quotes need? Citations, right? And we know everything. So if I don't have an author, this is very important. Listen to me, please. If you don't know the author, what do you think you should put instead? Caleb? Not the website, the publisher. Good job. So for this one, do I have an author? No. So let's do publisher. Columbia Electronic Exchange. Parentheses, Columbia Electronic Encyclopedia. I said exchange the first time. I don't know why. No, we don't have a page. So you can leave that blank. No, you don't need to highlight that. Now for my website, my publisher is Discovery School. So I'm going to put Discovery School.com. I'm just shortening it. Now this is what you'll turn into me. How many of these will you turn into me? 6. Okay? Because why 6? You have 6 questions. So when you're finished, you will turn in 6 of these to me.
Was this one of them or no?
No, this is just a sample. This goes with the thing that I showed you yesterday. Do you remember this one? The Ronald Reagan and Grenada? Okay. Somebody had their hand up. Shalise.
Are we gonna have like search kind of folder?
No, you'll just have your iBook. Any other questions? Okay.